I want to go back to the phone lines. We'll talk to Amy in Olathe, Kansas. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Hank. I just wanted to tell you that I'm a first-time caller. I've been listening to you for about a year now, and I found you on my long drive to work. So you've been a blessing in my life ever since I found you, so thank you for that.
You got it.
I just have a question for you. It kind of has two parts, but it centers around euthanizing a pet.
Mm-hmm.
And, the first part is, my husband and I felt the need to euthanize our cat after diagnosed with kidney failure. And we were given a choice by our vet that, we could go through an expensive treatment that may or may not help him, or we can have him euthanized. And we chose to just euthanize him and not put him through that. And my second part is that my sister is contemplating euthanizing her dog that is very old and who's in a lot of pain and discomfort and having a lot of coughing spells. So I'm kind of wondering if, this falls under the 10 Commandments of thou shalt not murder, or does that not apply to euthanizing our pets? And I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I don't think it applies to euthanizing our pets, but what does apply is the biblical principle that we are to be stewards of all of the creation, and therefore we should treat all of that which God has placed before us with dignity and respect, and that certainly applies to animals. But let me say something about animal suffering. There's a growing body of scientific evidence that indicates that animals, like dogs and cats, do experience pain, but they do not experience the awareness of being in pain. So animals don't suffer pain in the same way that human beings suffer pain. And I think that's actually good news for animal lovers.
Great. Well, it's been something that's been bothering me, and I felt guilty about it, and just wanted to know your thoughts on that. And I'm just hoping that I can kind of guide my sister in helping her make a wise decision with her dog.
Yeah, I'm glad you have this kind of care for animals. A lot of people don't recognize that these are a big part in God's avant-garde creative process, and that they will inherit eternal life, which is to say that just as this universe, which now groans in travail, will be liberated from its bondage to decay, so too it will be that in Paradise Restored, there will be what once was in paradise. Paradise was populated by trees and by animals. And therefore, we should not just suppose that there'll be trees in the restored universe, but also that there will be animals. Now, we don't know exactly what the new heavens and the new earth will look like. We have to be candid about that. There's only inference. But what we do know is that this universe that is groaning in travail will be liberated. So out of the womb of this earth will come a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwells righteousness. And we would suppose that what Adam and Eve experienced with animals prior to the time that sin invaded the planet, we will re-experience in a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwells righteousness.
And do you feel our pets have souls and that we will see them again in heaven?
They do have souls. Now, we don't know whether petted pets we will see in heaven. The Bible doesn't tell us that, but there's nothing to preclude that possibility. And when I say animals have souls, I think that is demonstrably true. It wasn't until the Enlightenment that people thought otherwise. But the soul of an animal is qualitatively different from the soul of a human being, and I think that's very important to recognize. I would also point out that some of the keenest thinkers, from C.S. Lewis to Peter Kreeft, are not only convinced that animals in general, but that pets in particular will be restored in the resurrection. And so if God did resurrect our pets, it would be in total keeping with his overwhelming grace and goodness.